Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm gonna talk Canelo versus Munguia. So, not the fight we were most excited about, not exactly the guy we wanted Canelo to fight, but for me, he's the third best option. For me, it goes Benavidez first, Morrell second, then Munguia. If you want to continue, then it's Crawford, then Billy, then Berlanga. So not the best and most scintillating fight that could be made for Canelo, but also not the worst. But nevertheless, it's made, and I'm here to break it down and give you guys my prediction. And as always, first things first, the tale of the tape. Canelo is 33 years old, has a record of 60 wins, 39 knockouts, 2 losses and 2 draws, and he obviously only lost to Mayweather and B-Ball. He stands at 5'8" with a 70-inch reach. Munguia, on the other hand, is 27 years old, in the prime of his career, with a record of 43-0 with 34 knockouts. He's around 6 foot tall with a 72-inch reach. So as we can see, Munguia holds the advantage on every metric here pretty much. He's taller, longer, and younger. Definitely got the youth and length advantage, but I wouldn't necessarily say that he has the size advantage. Canelo has been ruling the super middleweight division for some time now, and this is only Munguia's third fight in the division. I think realistically he's still a 160-pounder. He still has a lot of room to grow physically. He's still the smaller man in my opinion. I could be completely wrong. He is big at 6 foot, but he just doesn't look as thick as Canelo. And while the age difference between these two is only 6 years, but I swear it feels about 10. It just feels like Canelo is so much older than he is. It feels like Canelo is so much older than 33, man. 33 years old with 64 fights. That's amazing, especially for this era. But enough of the tale of the tape. I want to get into the advantages that these two hold over one another. And I'll start with Munguia, just because I feel as though a lot more people know what Canelo brings to the table. Let's get into what Munguia will bring on May 4th. Well, for one thing, he's definitely bringing entertainment. It's been said by boxing pundits before, but I would like to reiterate. Munguia is never in a boring fight. One of Munguia's strengths and one advantage that he'll definitely have in this fight is actually volume. Munguia throws punches in bunches and he throws combinations, whereas Canelo really doesn't. Canelo likes to shoot 1 or 2 at a time nowadays. He prefers to sit down on his punches rather than throw in volume. I actually think that aside from the entertainment value, Munguia's volume and combination punching is his best weapon against Canelo. As we saw in the Bivol fight, Canelo was just not throwing nearly enough as Bivol, and he lost that fight handily for many reasons, of course, but that was just a big factor for sure. And what is essential if you want to be a busy, high output, active fighter? A gas tank. Munguia has a great gas tank. It comes to the fight well conditioned, ready to go to war. I mean, you can't be slugging it out for 12 rounds in a Fight of the Year nominee if you are not in top condition. So yes, Munguia definitely has the stamina advantage over Canelo. He's younger, he's fresher, and nowadays his conditioning is just better. Canelo doesn't have a terrible gas tank like Zhilei Zhang, for example. If Zhang is good for 6 rounds, which he is, Canelo is good for around 8, 9, or 10 rounds. And even then, past that, Canelo's output doesn't plummet like it does Zhang. But either way, Munguia's gas tank is just better. Now, I couldn't really think of anything else to give in Munguia's favor except for hunger or desire. You know, this is his first big fight, and he's going to face the king of boxing, the man, the cash cow. So I'm sure he's going to do everything he can to win this fight. He knows a victory over Canelo, or at the very least, a good performance against Canelo will change his life. The trajectory of his career will change drastically if he pulls it off, so you know he's going to come hungry and ready. As for Canelo's advantages, well, I don't even know where to begin. It's in abundance, yo. But I guess we'll start with power, because I feel as though casuals are attracted to Canelo because of his knockouts. But I'm not too sure. Honestly, I don't know what the mainstream casuals are into when it comes to Canelo, but I digress. I believe that Canelo is just more powerful than Munguia, and I don't really think it's up for debate. Don't get me wrong, Munguia has pop, but Canelo's power is just a notch or 2 higher in my opinion. Now, what about skill? Who's more skilled? Who has a deeper bag? Well, to me, it's pretty obvious, and it's Canelo. Duh. He has mastered every punch in boxing. He also has a higher IQ, in my opinion. So not only does he punch harder, he also has more weapons, and he knows what weapon to use, when to use them, and how to set them up. So if we're talking about who's more offensively proficient and effective, I'm going to have to say Canelo. Now let's talk defense. And again, I don't think this is up for debate. Canelo most definitely has better defense than Munguia. He's great at bobbing and weaving and slipping. Canelo's head movement is just phenomenal. You know what it is? He's actually a slickster, you know. My guy is slippery. Canelo also has a very solid high guard, and honestly, this guy is great at anticipating when the punches are coming and where they're going. His punch resistance and chin is honestly, to me, at an all-time level. I mean, if we think about it, in an 18-year career, we can probably count on one hand how many times Canelo has been hurt. And let's not pretend as if most of the elite opponents he's been fighting aren't naturally bigger than him. I mean, this guy has been hit solid by an all-time puncher in Golovkin and nothing, no effect. Even fought Kovalev and nothing. Now, I know those two were out of their prime, but you know what they say, man. Power is the last thing to leave. So yes, Canelo's defense is spectacular. And even if you do hit him, you are not hurting him. The last, and honestly probably the most important advantage that Canelo has over Munguia is, of course, experience. He's just simply seen it all. Munguia is nothing new to him. Munguia has never fought a Canelo before. Munguia has never been on the stage before, whereas Canelo obviously has. He lives here. He lives up there, you know what I mean? So that about wraps up the advantages portion of the video. And I know I made it seem like it's a no-brainer on who will win, but funny enough, the advantages that Munguia has over Canelo is actually Canelo's main quote-unquote weaknesses. If we're talking volume and combination punching, that was something that Bivol employed and had great success against Canelo. You know, Canelo seemingly got overwhelmed momentarily. It just couldn't hang with Bivol's volume overall. He also got hit a lot because there were just so many damn punches coming. You can't avoid all that. You can't block all of that, right? Obviously, volume will also win you rounds against Canelo because, as I said, he opts to throw more power punches. So his output is just naturally lower than his opponents these days. So if he doesn't hit you with eye-catching shots, and if you stay busy most of the round, more likely than not, you should win that round. And the stamina advantage as well is big because Canelo does slow down in the later stages of the fight. This has been the chink in his armor, if you want to call it that, for a while now, right? People have pointed out numerous times because it is apparent. So if you can survive the best of what Canelo has to offer in the first 8, 9, 10 rounds, you have a good chance of banking the final 3 or 4 rounds. So yeah, this fight isn't a foregone conclusion. Both fighters definitely has a shot of winning here, but how do I see it going? Honestly, I see Munguia getting countered time and time again as he tries to apply pressure. What I saw from the Ryder fight was that Munguia gets countered. He just does. I also saw him get hit clean a lot. I am of the belief that Munguia's defense is just very leaky. There's a lot of holes in his defense, and with Canelo being so savvy, so smart, so experienced, he'll be able to exploit those holes and go to work on Munguia. I think Canelo wins 4 of the first 6 rounds. Munguia will spend most of those rounds trying to figure out how to let his hands go without getting countered and hurt. And because of this, I think Munguia fights a little more reserved than what we're used to. In rounds 7 to 9, I see Canelo slowing down a tad, which Munguia will pick up on. And because he knows he's down in the cards, I see him increasing the tempo, turning up the heat, picking up the pace. And because of this, I see him winning at least one of those rounds, maybe 2. But the round that Canelo does win, I think he catches and drops Munguia in said round. I think in round 8 or 9, Munguia sees success with his combination punching, his volume, his relentless pressure, and makes the mistake of throwing caution to the wind and gets clipped. Canelo will punch with him and he will get dropped. And now the drop will slow Munguia's pace down. It'll bring him back to earth. I think he'll pick up a round or 2 at the end because Canelo himself will slow down as well. But this fight will end in a split decision for the king, Canelo Alvarez. I think it'll be a split decision just because I think one of the judges will prefer Munguia's sheer aggression to Canelo's more methodical, cerebral approach. But anyways, yes, Canelo will win this fight. I was debating for a bit whether or not he'd knock Munguia out. But I think at this age, and because Munguia will probably come in the best shape of his life, I think he'll see the distance and Canelo will win on points. Now, do I think this is a wash? You know, honestly, at first I did. I thought this was easy work for Canelo, but Munguia, man, he is hungry. He's in his prime. He's youthful. He got a lot of energy, a lot of spunk, and a lot of pride. I also think he got that dog in him. So I definitely think that he won't go into the fight just to lay down when shit hits the fan. Like I said, there is a path to victory for him, and a man. And yo, if he can take Canelo's punch, his chances of winning shoot all the way up. Because then he'll just outwork Canelo, like plain and simple, period. If I was to give this fight percentage, I would say it's about a 58-42 type of matchup in favor of Canelo. It's going to be a fun fight, an explosive fight, and I think it has the potential to be a Fight of the Year nominee. But that's it for me, y'all. What do you guys think of this matchup? What do you think will happen? Who do you think will win? Drop it down in the comments down below. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching and hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much.